Hi, I'm Ms. Cho, and in this video, we'll talk about how to find undefined values of rational functions. When we talk about rational functions, they take the form r of x is equal to p of x over q of x. In other words, you have one polynomial divided by another. And the most important thing about this is your denominator cannot equal 0. If you have a regular fraction, like 0 over 4, you're talking about parts of a whole. So if you have 4 slices of cake, you're allowed to take none of them. But if your whole is nothing, you can't take parts of nothing. So this is not allowed. And when your denominator is equal to 0, your function is undefined. It means that whatever makes your denominator equal to 0 makes your entire function undefined. Let's take a look at some examples. In our first example, we're asked for which value of x is the expression x plus 2 over 2x minus 1 undefined. When we're talking about undefined, we mean that it makes the denominator 0. So we're going to take the denominator and set it equal to 0. We can ignore the numerator right now. That's not important. What we want to do is we want to find the x value that makes the denominator 0. So I'm going to just solve this equation. By adding 1 to both sides, I get 2x plus 1, and when I divide by 2, I get x equals 1/2. I can write this in one of two ways. I can say that the expression is undefined for x equals 1/2, or I can say that my expression cannot have an x of 1/2. Both are valid ways of saying the same thing. Let's try a second example. Here we're asked for which values of x is the expression x squared minus 16 over x squared minus 4x minus 12 undefined. Again, fractions are undefined when the denominator is equal to 0. So we're going to take that denominator, x squared minus 4x minus 12, and set it equal to 0. Now I have a quadratic equation where I'm trying to find the zeros. I can do that by factoring, or completing the square, or doing the quadratic formula, whatever you prefer. I'm going to factor, so I'm looking for two numbers that multiply to -12 and add to -4. And I think those numbers are going to be 6 and 2 with a -6. That means my factors are x minus 6, x plus 2. And when I set that equal to 0, I'm going to set each factor equal to 0, which gives me x is equal to 6 and x equals -2. So my expression is undefined for x equals 6 and x equals -2. Let's summarize. Undefined values make the denominator 0. We can ignore the numerator right now because the numerator is allowed to do whatever it wants. We'll worry about that in another lesson. To find undefined values, very easy. We just set the denominator equal to 0 and we solve for x.